Hi guys, my name is Patrick. This is my friend Tori, the lovely model today. I'm going to show you guys what settings I use when I shoot my clients or just any photography that I do in general. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be shooting with my Canon 5D Mark III and a 35mm lens. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. I am shooting right now in manual. That's the M setting. And this is kind of what my screen looks like. The first thing you want to know is what aperture your camera can go to. So if you look at your lens, most of the time you can tell this right from your lens. And right here, mine goes to 1.4. So that's the lowest aperture your camera can go to. And sometimes you want to be using that, but in this case, I'm going to stick around in the 2.0 range. So I'm going to have it at 2.2. I think that this is the best like focal length for full body, you know, Instagram shots, but some people you can go all the way up to the highest. Basically what your aperture does is the higher up it is, like the lower number, it's more blurry. So that's when you have like the blurred background or like some parts of the body that are blurry. But when you go all the way down to as low as it can go, so in this case f16, that's gonna focus everything and it's kind of gonna give it a flat look. So when you have it nice up in around the 2 range, sometimes I'll even shoot in the 1.4, it's gonna give it a dimensional look. Okay, so after you figure out what aperture you want to shoot on, you need to look at your shutter speed. So right now, I'm at 2.0 and this is kind of the exposure. So we're a little overexposed. So you can see it's at +3. We want to be right at 0. So we're just going to adjust our aperture to whatever hits around that 0 mark. So right there is about good exposure. And if I just take a little test shot, we can bump it up just a little bit. There you go. So good exposure. I always just start with my aperture and then play with the shutter speed after that. And then for ISO, there's a lot of options on cameras. Mine can go all the way up to the 20,000s, but you really always want to just stay on 100 if you're outside. 100's just going to give you that natural lighting look. You don't really need to bump it up because it's basically when you're shooting in low light conditions is when you want to play with that ISO. And then you can also look at your white balance. So right here, there is the option to do auto white balance, and I would kind of suggest against this just because if you know what the lighting is, if it's pretty stable, you have all the options and you can choose which one will look best. So since we're in a shaded area, I'm gonna select the option shade, but a lot of the time I am in the daylight setting because I will be shooting outside in the direct sunlight. So, but for this circumstance, I'm in shade. And then just a couple other settings I'm going to leave standard. One really important thing is your camera image quality. I am shooting in the RAW format, and on most cameras the general setting is JPEG, which is really good if you want to save a lot of that memory storage on your camera, but for me, I'm more concerned about the post-processing and the editing, so I'm going to prioritize the RAW setting. It basically allows for every photo you take to have the full image quality, which allows you to take it back in Lightroom and adjust everything you want with no loss of image. So just switch that on the top. If it was set to there, just dial it to RAW and just leave JPEG turned off. So that is my settings right now. One more thing I guess I could look at is manual selection for your focus. So when I'm shooting, it will give you the option to do auto selection, which is basically when you're shooting and the camera just guesses what you want to focus on. But sometimes there's a lot of objects in the scene and it picks the wrong thing. That's why you might be getting a lot of blurry photos if it's focusing on the background. So I always go to my settings for point selection and I do manual. So with every photo, I move around the dot and focus on where I'm gonna put the subject. So I kind of have to know ahead of time where I'm gonna have Tori. So right now it's a horizontal photo, she's standing right there, so I'm gonna put the dot kind of in the upper middle. So then when I shoot, I kind of know that's exactly where she is and it's completely focused. And when you're shooting with those lower apertures, you're really gonna wanna make sure you're focusing on the right part of your subject, because at a 2.0, it's focusing on making the background blurry, and if it focuses on her arm or her shoe or something, her face is gonna be out of focus, which is not what you want. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks Tori for being my little model.
You're welcome.
If you liked what you learned, please let me know. I love getting feedback, and I hope to bring some more videos to you guys soon. Thanks.